All right, cool. It looks like there's a good number of people. Let's get started. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Felix Bang, and I'm the founder and CEO of Set Protocol, for those who aren't aware. During this presentation, I'd love to just go over some of the ethos behind DeFi and why what we're doing, go over some of the recent trends for DeFi, and also talk about some of the challenges that we're facing and hopefully we'll be discussing later today. So in 2008, we saw the financial crisis go about with the downfall of Lehman Brothers and Bear Stearns. This had wide-ranging implications and was caused by one of two reasons. One was misincentivized middlemen, folks who were incentivized to do certain things, as well as as well as complex, opaque assets that not even professionals such as rating agencies can fully understand. And this affected people globally, all over the world, even those who didn't have any dealings or weren't connected with the system at all. In addition to that, we are seeing that there's 2 billion people who are currently unbanked. These are people who don't have access to financial services that we take for granted in the Western world, such as checking accounts and lending products. They can't get mortgages to buy homes. I think this is a huge shortcoming of society as a whole. And what we aim to do is build a financial system without intermediaries that's more open, fair, transparent, and equitable in a way that can prevent the next 2008 crisis, and also build a system that's more global, open, and inclusive for the 2 billion people without access to financial services. And DeFi is an open community of decentralized finance platforms that believes that decentralized ledger or blockchain technology can help serve as a tool to build this open financial system. The goal of DeFi is to help spread awareness of the decentralized finance movement and help facilitate discussions around solving the industry's most pressing challenges. And those are some of the members of DeFi on the right there. And each of those members is committed to helping to build this open financial system and embodies values such as open source, interoperability, collaboration, and transparency. So a lot has progressed in the past year or so in terms of DeFi, and we've made incredible progress in the past year. And I want to walk through some of the trends that we're seeing. So first off, the world is getting decentralized. Rent-seeking intermediaries are meeting their decentralized counterparts. With banks, there's Bitcoin. With Amazon S3, you have protocols like Filecoin. And the whole Web3 stack is getting rebuilt from the bottom up. In conjunction with that, we see that the finance world is also getting rebuilt by its decentralized primitives. On the bottom, you have the blockchain layer, such as Ethereum. And back in 2017, we saw the emergence of decentralized exchange protocols, such as 0x. And also, we have something called what I coined financial primitives, which are built on top of that. And these are specialized protocols that focus on building financial solutions such as derivatives, loans, baskets. And on top of that, people can build decentralized financial applications and services that utilize these protocols. Since then, things have grown considerably. On the exchange layer, there are numerous decentralized exchange protocols you can choose from. In addition to that, many of the traditional financial products that we see in the real world are being transposed into the decentralized trustless versions. You're seeing real world assets, securities, stablecoins, compliance, insurance, all represented in this diagram here. In addition to that, we are seeing dozens and dozens of decentralized financial services and applications being built on top of these protocols. And these are protocols that you can use today and work. These are not just protocols that are just white papers or testnet implementations. For example, you can transact in a peer-to-peer fashion, wallet to wallet, without a centralized custodian or middleman using 0x. You can take your ERC20 token and lend it to someone across the globe and earn interest on your token using Dharma or Compound. You can short an Ether token using DYDX, and you can make prediction bets using Augur. These are things that you can do today. In addition to that, we're seeing the emergence of multi-DeFi protocol applications. These are applications that use multiple DeFi projects as part of their offering. One example is Open Finance, which is building a securities exchange, which incorporates usage of Harbor and 0x. Veil is a prediction markets layer that utilizes Augur and 0x. This is incredibly exciting as we see the effects of compounding primitives. In addition to that, the implications of this is staggering. These primitives and technology allows the cost of barrier to entry and development of these financial services to be dramatically lowered from what used to cost millions of dollars. The example that we have here is Premotif, which is a project that was built at ETH San Francisco over a weekend. This was a decentralized application that allows anyone to get exposure to global indices, such as the S&P 500, without the volatility risk of Ether. This was built using Augur, DYDX, SET, and 0x. And the team that built this didn't have to ask any of these protocols for permission to use it. And this really demonstrates the power of decentralized finance in democratizing control and the building of financial services to anyone in the world. Anyone in the world who can build something like this, and there'll be thousands of this in the future. And the other interesting thing is that these financial applications have global customers from day one. So anyone around the world with internet access can start using this once it's deployed. However, when you start looking at the facts, we are still really early, and usage of these protocols is limited. 0x only has 1,000 filled orders per day. There are 100 markets on Augur that are liquid out of the 1,300 that exist. And one website we looked at noted that there's 41 daily active users on Augur. I guess the one exception is stablecoins, which seems to have a high AUM number, which is great. But we still have a long way to go in terms of getting adoption of these protocols and crossing the chasm into mainstream usage. And as I've talked to numerous teams in the space, I've heard many murmurs of the challenges that people are facing. Some of these are enumerated here, including lack of trust. I'm not talking about protocols that are trustless in nature, but rather that the counterparties don't trust one another. That means that any lending protocol must be fully or over-collateralized, which is hugely inefficient. And this is due to a lack of identity or reputation systems and rating agencies. Other people I talk to talk about low liquidity. There's not that much exchange that's happening on these protocols yet. And part of it is due to institutional and market makers not entering because they don't want to transact on venues where they don't perform KYC or AML. In addition, there's a lack of non-Ethereum assets or non-Ethereum correlated assets that people want to trade, such as Bitcoin, Ripple, security tokens, or other real-world assets. And there's a lack of risk mitigation tools such as insurance and analytics. And finally, there's generally poor user experience. For a user to start using these applications, they need to download MetaMask, they need to manage their own private keys. For those savvy users, there's other issues and challenges as well, such as transaction latency, costs, and deciding of transactions. And these are pretty pressing challenges that this industry has to face. And part of why we're here today is to help start finding solutions for this. And these are challenges and issues, and the right way to think about it is to flip it into opportunities and questions. How can we find reputation and identity solutions that balance trustlessness and usability? How can we build compliance into crypto-native protocols? How do we onboard more assets onto Ethereum? And how do we build user experiences that are intuitive and secure? So these are pretty challenging questions And we're here today to try to find solutions for it. We've made a lot of progress in the past year, but it's still really early innings in decentralized finance. And we're super excited to have you all here today. And we believe that each one of you can help contribute and make a dent in building a more equitable system. So let's build an open financial system together. Thank you.